I'm going to explain to you how to add a points or grading scale to your assignments. So I'm editing and changing one of the assignments I've already set up, and I'm going to add a grading scale to it. But if you start a brand new assignment, you'll see exactly the same section which says points, and it allows you to add a grading scale. So in the tutorial where we set an assignment up, I left this blank, but this time I'm going to add some information in here. So I want to add a point scale to my assignment. I need to press Add Rubric. And I'll see that there's none available at present. I haven't set any up yet, so I'm going to create a new rubric. And this is where I can set out a sort of title, so I can save this grading scale, and I can put in some criteria and some grades, so the students know what they need to do to get the different levels. So for the course that I teach, iMedia ICT course, they use distinction, merit, pass, and then level 1 grades. So I'm going to add those as my gradings, but you could use the 1 to 9 system. You could use, if you're doing juniors, like 3A, 3B, 3C, those different grading levels. Or you could just use words like we've got here, excellent, good, fair, poor, and come up with your own grading system that is relevant for your subject area. So this is going to be the iMedia written work gradings. I'm actually going to put the description the same, but if you want to add more detail there, you can. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to change what it says in the gradings to what I want it to say. So I want distinction, merit, and pass. And if I scroll across, it's got a 4th section here. I'm going to put level 1. If I didn't want 4 sections, I could delete any using the little bin. So any of these sections, you just click in the title and you can go to the bin and it will delete that whole section. If I want more than 4, so you're doing the 1 to 9 gradings and you want to really split that out, you can press plus and you can add more sections, add more columns, so you can have as many as you want. I now need to add some criteria so the students know what they need to do to get these different gradings. Okay, so distinction would be cover 5 areas, add justification to your comments. A merit would be to cover 3 areas, explain your comments clearly. A pass would be to cover 2 areas and just describe these clearly without as much explanation. And a level 1 would be cover 1 or 2 areas in note form, so very briefly. So that's what they need to do to get the different levels on our written tasks for iMedia. So that would apply to the assignment that I'm setting them here. So I'm going to press attach now, and there is now a point system attached to this assignment. When I press update, I can see what the student view is like, and they are now going to be able to see the gradings and see that information. So it will come up on the student's assignment with that information as to what they need to do to get the different grades. When I mark the piece of work, I have no one's handed this in, but if I mark that piece of work, I'll be able to allocate those grades to the assignment. Okay, I'm going to take you through how it works now for the student and for yourself when you've added a grading system to your assignment. And I'm going to do this tutorial by showing you what I'm doing and then switching to the student view and showing you what the student would see. So I hope this doesn't confuse you, but I thought it might be helpful actually to see both what the teacher sees and what the student sees in this situation. So I've set an assignment to hand in the file type notes, and I've set it to this pretend student we've got called visiting student, and I've added a grading system. I know I've done that because if I go to student view, I can actually see a rubric here. I can see the instructions, everything I've put on the assignment, and I can see rubric, and I can see here that I've given them different gradings that they can achieve. Okay, so what I need to do now is I'm going to show you how the student would hand that piece of work in. So this is actually a different view. This is what the student is seeing. Okay, so I'm now on as this visiting student, and they're going to look at their assignments. Let's have a look in their assignments. Let's just refresh this. So hopefully in assignments, there we are. This is the assignment I've set for this student. I'm going to go into here as a student. They're going to add the work. So this student is going to add a piece of work quickly that they've done, or in this case, that's just some class notes. And they're going to hand in that piece of work. When they hand in, by the way, the students get a lovely animation, like a little reward that they've handed their work in. And if they want to, they can always undo and then re-hand in a different piece of work if they've made a mistake. Okay, so that's what the student is seeing. And just so you're aware, the student the whole time is able to see this rubric. They can click at any point and see the gradings. You might need to point out to them to do that because they do have to click to see those. Okay, so I'm going to switch back now to the teacher view. Okay, so if I just go back and hopefully this will refresh. So this is the piece of work that's now been handed in. So I can see that that student has turned in or handed in the piece of work, and I can give them some feedback. So to see their work, I just click on where it says turned in, and I'll be able to see the piece of work they've handed in to me. In this case, it's a PowerPoint presentation. It happens to be notes from class. So I look through that and grade it. And over at the side here, I can choose from the rubric section what I want to give them as a grade. So I go to this. I can choose the level that suits what they've done. In this case, it would be a level 1. And press done. And I can also give them some feedback. So I'm going to say, well done for handing in, but you were meant to make your own notes. Please have another go at this task. And I'm going to press return when I've given them the feedback. I can then close that down. And I have graded it. So to grade, I've got 0. In graded, I now have this visiting student, and I've returned the work to them. So just so you can see now what the student would see, I'm going to switch back to the student view. So this is what the student is seeing. And they've done this piece of work, hand in file type notes. They've handed it in to me, as we already saw. They've now had it graded, so you can see under feedback my comment is showing up for them, and if they go to the rubric, one of them will be highlighted, which is the one that I selected. So the level 1 is highlighted so they can see which level they achieved.